You are now watching Convo with Drea and Drea.
Thank you for joining us today on Convo. I'm your host, Andrea.
And I'm your host, Andrea. And today we are coming to you from Posh Boutique in MacArthur Mall in downtown Norfolk, Virginia. Our guest today is the beautiful Mikasa La'Charles. She is a seamstress, stylist, and fashion designer.
Yes, Mikasa, can you tell us how you first started to develop your talents and when you really realized that being a fashion designer is what you're passionate about?
I always tell people, because I get that question a lot, from aspiring designers and kids who are, interested in the art and fashion industry. And I always tell them, it all began when I was about, 4 or 5 years old, because I was born in Philadelphia, so I was in my home in Philadelphia, and I remember sitting at the countertop in the kitchen, and my mom was, cooking and cleaning, and I was, sitting there sketching, silhouette stuff, like skirts and shirts, and then I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, can I just do this forever? And she looked at what I was doing and she was like, absolutely, Mikasa. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, they're called fashion designers. And I was like, wow. And I just remember having that moment being like, wow, I can actually do this forever. So ever since that moment, I've always just had a very strong admiration for fashion and just really have grown my sense of fashion and ability to design and create clothing from there. Also, when I was in college, I actually did attend some schooling at Parsons, Paris, while doing fashion shows and creating garments. So it's just been something that I've been creating and nourishing for many years.
Now, you participated in Virginia Fashion Week. How did you get involved in that whole event?
Yeah, okay, that was pretty cool actually, because I did that, I want to say maybe about 2 years ago. So in 2009, and the cool thing about that was when I did Virginia Fashion Week for the first time in 2009, I was actually a participant in their emerging designer competition, and that competition is actually only supposed to be offered to college kids. But at that time, I've been out of school for a year or two, so thankfully they did allow me to do it. Thankfully they did, and the requirements for it is to actually bring in to showcase 3 garments. So I showcased 3 of my garments. The judges loved it. I won that competition, and as one of my prizes, for winning that competition, I was invited to come back the following year, which was last year, 2010 in November, to actually showcase a full collection, and I did. And that location was at Waterside, downtown Norfolk, a beautiful venue. I showcased 20 looks. It was an amazing show, and that was my spring 2011 collection, and it was just really great. And this year, actually, I received an email from Ann Lester, who's the coordinator of Virginia Fashion Week, and she actually has invited me back for this year, and I think it's going to be, thank you so much, I'm really excited. I have that show and another big fashion show in November, so I'm going to be really busy selling my butt off right now. So I'm excited. It's going to be great.
And while at Wayman Man, you did your co-founder of Cobblestone Couture, and that was your very first fashion show, right?
Yes. Cobblestone Couture. It was actually conceptualized by one of my fellow peers at the College of William and Mary. Her name is Elizabeth, and Liz was this she had this great admiration for fashion too, and it was really cool to meet her and to see how interested in fashion she was, and her perspective on fashion. And so we, great minds combined.
Lots of talent.
Exactly, and lots of talent. And we came up with a club on campus, the first fashion club ever, called Cobblestone Couture, which is symbolic because if you go to Williamsburg, Virginia, you see nothing but cobblestone. So it was really great. So we created an organization along with some other kids on the campus, and we ran and held our first student-ran fashion show, and that was the first fashion show I ever did. And that fashion show for me was very noteworthy, just because it was the first fashion show I had ever done. It was the first time in which I could show clothing I had designed and made to anyone, other than my mother, who of course my mother, even though she wouldn't lie to me if her design isn't the best, but you expect your mom to say that something's amazing, but this was the first fashion show in which I was going to get either positively or negatively criticized by the general public. But after that fashion show, everyone loved it, and that really gave me the momentum to say to myself, wow, Mikasa, you are a great designer. Let's take this to the next level. So it was great, and I loved it.
And even getting the opinion of your mom, she used to model, and so your aunt modeled a lot in the UK as well as here in the United States.
Yep, that's correct. So my mom, she was a model, as well as my aunt, Arlethea. She was also a model, and she did a lot of modeling overseas, in Paris, in the UK, here in America. She did it all. She was great.
Now, tell us a little bit about your experience working full-time in the fashion industry in New York.
Yes, it was a very great experience. Last year I moved to New York and I worked with one of Perry Ellis International's contemporary clothing brands, and that was a really great experience, just working there and being in the fashion industry and being able to, like, you know, leave work actually and just like walk outside the building and there's like fashion stores, trimming stores, beading stores. It was like a girl in heaven. The only thing I could have asked for was that they had longer hours, because in the fashion district they usually close like around 6 o'clock.
So when you're getting off of work,
getting off of work, so I only have like 15 minutes to play around. But it was a great experience. Learned a lot. It was awesome.
And you also do personal consultations, and that has been so successful for you. But can you tell us why and just how this process goes when you meet with a client?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's one thing I like to offer to a lot of my clients are personal consultations. Just for the simple fact that, you know, I mean, because we have shows on Bravo such as like The Housewives of Atlanta, The Housewives of Orange County, you know, that whole like personal consultation and that being catered to has really taken American Women by storm. Like, oh, I can really have a makeup artist come to my home, do my makeup for an event, and then go. Like, and women, they want that, they need that, they love being catered to. I mean, we deserve it.
And the woman on the go, I mean, it becomes a time issue. If you don't have time to shop, you're picking the kids up from Girl Scouts, you're taking them to school in the mornings, you're making meals. I mean, having someone come in and be able to create the garment for you, take your measurements, really helps as well.
Absolutely. And it's so like, so it totally does a great service for women and like even for their husbands, because I've had, because like a lot of my clients have called me over to their homes to do like, you know, maybe alterations on a lot of their garments, and then like, you know, the husband he's like, do you actually do men's clothing too? So then he'll start putting on slacks and jackets and button-up shirts that he needs alterations on. So, you know, it works out really, really well. The women love it just because, like, you know, I offer them that extra extended comfort by being able to come to their home where they feel most comfortable. You know, like every woman doesn't feel like coming to a store into like a fitting room, and like you just don't feel as comfortable as you would like in your own bedroom in front of your own mirror.
And the garment wasn't custom made for you either.
Exactly. Very true.
Yep. And besides being in Paris and studying at Parsons School of Art Design, you also got to go to Florence and Milan too.
That is correct.
What did you see there, and what inspired you while you were in those countries?
You know, I don't know how to describe in words, but like you said, I did also study abroad while I was in college. I spent the summer in Florence, Italy, and I spent another semester, like 6 months in Milan, Italy. And while there, you know, it just really allowed me to, like, you know, pick up on new trends and to kind of like just gain a different sense of fashion, like, you know, to take my creativity and level of style to a whole other level. You know, one thing I really learned there is that, like, honestly, Europeans are like literally a year or two ahead of us in fashion, hands down. Because I remember when I went there, purchasing like the leggings, like the colorful bright neon leggings. I came back to the States, people were looking at me like, what is she wearing? And then 2 years later, it's like American girls, like we're like crazy about leggings and like leopard prints, but like there was like, you know, by the time it came here, I was thinking to myself like, wow, I've been doing this already for the past 2 years, and now it's caught on. But it's really amazing when you are able to like leave the States, go to a foreign country, and just see like what their fashion inspiration is, because they are literally at least a year or two ahead of us.
Other than creativity, what do you think is the greatest advantage that a fashion designer could hold in their box of talents?
Oh wow. So the greatest inspiration, or
the greatest advantage that one could have to be a successful fashion designer, other than being creative, because you know that is a creative title.
Yeah, maybe in different areas.
Yeah, other than being creative, as a fashion designer.
But you are also trained. You know how to make your own patterns.
Yeah, you know, and I wouldn't even say, I mean, like, that is an advantage for me, because, you know what, I mean, that is true, that is, like, okay, you know, I would probably say there's, like, 2 different advantages. Like, if you are a fashion designer, if you're able to make your own patterns, that's, like, truly remarkable, because that means you're not going to your local fabric store and purchasing patterns, and you're not constricted to that one design. Because even when you slash up those patterns and try to, like, make something else, you're messing up the measurements, so the garment may not come out correct. But when you're able to sit there and sketch your own patterns, then it allows you to, first of all, offer your clients more designs, and it allows your creativity to really unflourish, because then you can, like, the sky's the limit. You can create anything because you create your own pattern. Another advantage for any designer is to have, like, a really strong business sense too. You know, like, a lot of designers, like, are just very creative people, but when it comes to, like, you know, actually managing a business and creating a very strong business and marketing that business well. Unfortunately, that creative mind lacks that.
Right.
And you know, and I always, you know, use Tracy Reese, who's a phenomenal fashion designer in contemporary market, as a great example, because I remember once reading a bio about her and how she stated that, you know, the first time around when she launched her business, you know, she had good product, but it didn't survive because she admitted to not having that business savviness and not being business oriented and educated. So then, like, once she kind of like closed down the business a little bit, became more business savvy and relaunched the business, it just took off because then she had that business knowledge. So for any aspiring designer, definitely being able to create your own patterns and having that business sense is beneficial.
And young designers have come to you for advice and just some type of guidance. What do you usually say to them?
You know, one thing I always tell like a lot of young designers is you have to own who you are. If you want to be a designer, then introduce yourself to a designer. You are no longer Melissa. You are Melissa, the designer. So when you meet people and when you introduce yourself, let them know who you are, because until you let people know who you are, they'll never know. And it's really amazing because, like, you know, I run into a lot of people who, like, you know, I've interacted with for years, and then, like, you know, then I'll talk to them about sewing and how I do this and do that, and they're like, oh my God, I never knew. And if you don't talk about it, how will they know? I mean, of course, you know, word of mouth is always a great asset and a great tool for, like, you know, marketing who you are, but sometimes you definitely need to just step out there and let people know, I'm Mikasa, a fashion designer and stylist.
And fashion is definitely your passion. How does it feel being able to live your dream and spend not all of your hours, but a lot of your hours really dedicating yourself to something that you love?
You know, it's really amazing and it's truly therapeutic. Being able to sit in front of a sewing machine and hear it click, 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 I think seriously, like, brings me the best joy ever. It's just for me, it's just very therapeutic. Being able to, like, sit there and create something and, like, you know, take this a flat piece of fabric and put it into a three-dimensional piece that someone can wear. It's just amazing. I love it.
What do you say to those who maybe their dream may not be to be a fashion designer, but someone who realizes what their dream is and their passion? How do you inspire them to get them over the edge and really get them going towards working towards that?
You know what? I have to always just tell people, go for it. I think I just let people know, like, go for it. You'll be amazed at how things are just so possible. And a lot of times to ourselves, we think to ourselves, like, that's not possible. I can't do that, but it's totally possible. Like, especially like in today's era, like anything is possible. Especially if you have the determination and the focus and just the motivation and strive to get it done. You can totally accomplish any goal.
Just having faith in yourself, being willing to put in the time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to take patience, research, and
God. It's going to definitely say God.
You know, we can do anything we aspire to. You can. And can you give us your website so people know where to see all of your beautiful? You have jewelry on the website as well.
I do.
So
my website is MikasaLa'Charles.com, and actually I just recently last week launched a mobile version of my website. So if your phone, so I'm really excited about it because I've had like a lot of people contact me saying, like, I can't visit your site on my phone because you know I can't get Flash on my phone. I'm like, oh, I have a mobile version.
You do everything on the phone these days.
Exactly.
On the go too.
Exactly. So now my website's mobile. I have an online store, which when you go to MikasaLa'Charles.com, just click the shop button, and it'll redirect you straight to my online store.
And just to break that down, it's www.MikasaLa'Charles.com.
Yes, and the necklaces that we are wearing are by Mikasa La'Charles.
Beautiful pieces here.
As well as earrings that Mikasa has on. And I actually own this necklace. I purchased it over a year ago when we first met Mikasa as a vendor at a party. And I love it. I wear it all the time. I always get complimented on it. So.
And it's durable. Like, she's had it for like well over a year. It just lasts her. It is great. And that's one thing I really love to offer like a lot of my customers and clients are, like, you know, pieces that, you know, are not only transitional, but that will last for, you know, for a very long time, as well as, like, you know, something that they can pair with like many things, so therefore they can really optimize their dollars that they're spending on.
And the Mikasa styles are also available here in Bodice Boutique at MacArthur Mall in downtown Norfolk, Virginia. Mikasa, what will you leave us with today?
You know, I just thank everyone for supporting me and for, like, you know, visiting my fan page, becoming a fan, friending me on Facebook, following me on Twitter. Just all the support in general. Like, even if you haven't purchased a piece of Mikasa La'Charles, like, just following me and keeping me up to, staying up to date with me, and like, passing on the word of who I am. That's the support that I ask for, and definitely within like the next few months to like over the next course of like the 2 years, you'll definitely see like a lot of big things coming from
the department stores.
Absolutely. That's one thing I'm working towards, especially getting my clothing in more boutiques along the East Coast. So there's great things to come.
The sky's the limit, and we thank you for sharing your story and inspiring others to go after their dreams as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. We will see you soon.
Bye.